Hey everybody, thanks for sticking with the channel here. The last month or so has been crazy. I picked up a project where I got to work nights and weekends in a plant and try and get stuff done while they're shut down. Plus I've got my normal 9 to 5 stuff, which didn't really leave any time for videos. Sorry, but you know, there's only so many hours in the day. I got to sleep sometime. Anyway, if you see behind me here, I bought a new truck. Part of this project has been working in the tanker bays of a food production plant, and that's a fairly common occurrence for me. My other truck, I think, needs a new rear seal. It started leaking a lot of oil, and you know, you just can't really do that in a food production plant like that. And rather than getting a having a rough conversation with the plant manager there about me leaking oil all over the place, it just resulted in me buying a new truck here. I ended up getting 2019 F250 diesel crew cab. We're going to go through it here in a minute, and I kind of want to talk to you guys about engine drives. I know that was kind of where I left off with the shop talk with Zach there, was about, you know, buying a used engine drive. And since I have switched over to my Trailblazer here, I've kind of got some new thoughts on, you know, really what's necessary. I really like my SAE 500. It's a cool welder. It welds amazing. You can run, you know, huge wire off of it. You can air arc off of it all day long, but it weighs 2,200 pounds. I mean, it's a really heavy machine. You've got that on your truck. You got all that wear and tear on your truck.
Video bombing.
And I got a kid video bombing me here, so where was I going with that? So basically, I love my 500, but like I said, it's 2,000 pounds. My SA 250, which actually I just sold last week, was like 1,600, 1,800 pounds, something like that. They're really big. They're awesome welders and they'll run forever, but they're really big and they're really heavy. And like over the last couple of months, I've really been super busy, and I've kind of really just drilled down and focused on like, what areas do I make the most money off of? What do I really need? And really the big engine drive doesn't make me any more money than, say, the little Trailblazer I got on my truck. I don't like really stick welding off of it as nice as, or as well rather, as I do off my Lincolns, but it gets the job done. Runs wire, great. And big aux power. That's another pretty big advantage to that. I can take that HTP welder and plug it into this guy, and I can pulse MIG aluminum. You can do stainless. You could also run a spool gun off this guy, but if you have a little machine like that HTP, why would you run a spool gun? I mean, that thing kicks the crap out of it. So gives you a lot more options. You can run a plasma cutter off of it if you've got that, and then air. And then I've been thinking about picking up a Miller air pack. I built the skid in my truck here to where eventually my plan is to get an air pack. I can just set it right in there, and I just have to replace the one toolbox, a little bit shorter one there. I can stick an air pack in there, and then I got plasma in the truck. You know, I can arc air off a 700-pound machine in the truck. Like this little guy back here only weighs 500 pounds. So I almost, when I bought a new truck, I almost bought a 1-ton or like a dually. And then I was thinking, well, I'll build a bed for it and this and that. But then I was like, wait, most of the work I do is with a TIG torch. I don't downhand. I very seldom x-ray anything. And typically the stuff that has been x-rayed has actually been TIG welded out. So why am I hauling around, you know, a big monstrous welder for most of the work I do? I don't really need it. So that's really where I'm at, is why I ended up going with this truck. I'm going to show you guys the setup I have now. I'm still changing a few things around, and my plan is to eventually build a nice aluminum skid that sits in there. I've been cruising around and I found a couple designs I really like. I just needed to get this up in a hurry. Like I said there, my other truck was leaking a little bit of oil. The last thing I wanted to do was piss off a plant manager because I leaked oil in their plant. So this had to get going pretty fast here. So that being said, let's go ahead and take a look at the truck. All right, so we're starting off here at the business end of my truck. Now, this skid is kind of a temporary setup. I'm gonna build something a lot nicer later. I just needed to get this setup up and working. Like I said, my other truck was leaking a lot of oil, and I needed to get something workable. So this is the way it is now. I've got 2 Aluma reels here on the back. If you've never used these are really nice reels. They each have 125 feet of 2/0 cable. So that gets me pretty much anywhere I want to go. I've just got them hanging off on a piece of tube here. I've got space for 2 full-size bottles on the back here to where I can have like an argon and a C25. I very seldom use the cutting torch, so I have room should I need one, but I just generally don't leave one in there. I've got 2 10-gallon forklift tanks up there against the welder. This is a propane-powered Trailblazer. It can be kind of a pain in the butt at times, but it's really nice at others. Current project I'm working on, I basically pull my truck into a tanker bay, spool my leads off into another part of the building and run wire all day. So this works real well where I don't have to suck diesel exhaust all day. The first day of this project, I headed up there with my SAE 500 on my other truck there, and it was bad. There's no exhaust fan in that tanker bay, and I mean the whole side of that building was just making your eyes water from the diesel exhaust. So swapped it out for the propane one here, and I've been running off of it quite a bit lately, and I've gotten used to it. I kind of like it now. It's, you know, it's not as nice to stick weld off of as a big 500, but it works and it weighs like 500 pounds. So I've got 10 gallons in there. It burns, if you're running wire, about a gallon an hour, something like that. So I can get a full day off of one of those 10-gallon tanks. I can usually get about half to 3/4 of a day off of the little, 7-gallon tanks. But these guys, I can actually get a full day of work out of. All right, so currently I basically just put everything back in this box the way it was on my 1-ton over there. I've got a bottle jack in here just because this trench drain I'm working on in places I got to spread it apart. Regulator, lots of clamps. You can never have enough of these guys on your truck. Gloves, hard hat, of course, paper towels, that's nice, you can clean your hands. A bunch of different grinding wheels and all kinds of stuff like that. Zip discs, kind of whatever I need like that. Grinders, I still haven't figured out a good way to hold these. Like I said, everything just kind of got thrown in this truck. So I'm kind of figuring out what I'm doing. I have a few rods over here. I don't stick weld a whole lot, but I figure I'll keep some, 1/8-inch 6010s, 332 7018s, and some 1/8-inch 7018s on the truck. And in the front here, I've got a fire extinguisher and I have a rod bucket. All right, so for this particular job, there's air in the room where I'm working. So I've got an air hose. I've got a couple extension cords in here. I've got my heavy hitters TIG rig, which we'll do a video on that. I really like that setup. In one of these floor drains there, I had my Trailblazer set about 250 amps, and I ran that heavy hitter rig and the Trailblazer for 4 days, basically just walking the cup for 4 days straight. It was pretty crazy. I bleached out a couple t-shirts just from that. But anyway, yeah, real nice TIG torch. Ground clamp, just miscellaneous cables and stuff I keep up here. I've been leaving a Milwaukee circular or metal cutting circular saw on the truck just because of a few of the things I've been doing lately. And a lot of this stuff has just gotten thrown in here just because I've been in such a hurry to get things done lately. I've been using air grinders in that part of the building because I have very limited access. These Ingersoll air grinders are really nice. You compare it to a Milwaukee. The Milwaukee definitely has more power, but size-wise, you can get that in where you can't get other stuff. Some spare blades, some outer shield 71M. I've been running the HTP dual shield wire as well. It's really decent. I really like it. I just found a spool of 71M that had been laying around for a while. Keep a few extra batteries, chargers. I think I'm going to go ahead and cut a hole in my toolbox over here and run a power cable around to where I can just plug it in, where I can have, my Trailblazer charge my batteries and stuff. But again, this all got thrown together in about a day and a half, so I really haven't had a whole lot of time to kind of tweak things. And then Trailblazer up here in the front, and then I bought some of these LED work lights and screwed them on there, but I haven't had time to wire them up yet, so that'll be maybe next week's project. All right, so this is my Trailblazer. There are many others out there, however this one is mine. It currently has 928 hours on it, and I got 57 hours to go until I need to make an oil change. You could run wire, you can run stick up here, and you have a setting for 7018 all the way through 6010. I pretty much just leave it on 6010 and never mess with it. I've really never liked the way it welded on 7018s or on the 7018 setting. I just turn the dig all the way up and leave it there. You also have the option to run AC with this. I guess we could play around and make some videos trying to stick weld AC with this. Miller makes a high frequency box where you can actually AC TIG weld off this. I haven't tried that. I've seen a few of them on Craigslist here lately, and I've kind of thought about picking one up, but just haven't gotten around to it. that might be kind of fun to experiment too if you could TIG weld straight off of this rather than have to run like a Dynasty or something like that. Now you've got a 50 amp circuit breaker here for 220, and then you've got two 110 volt GFI outlets here. The one thing I don't really like about this machine, because I usually forget, is that you have your ground lead here, and then you've got a stick TIG, and then you've got a wire lead here. Now, especially the way it is on the truck here, I kind of forget to switch over my stick TIG lead to MIG there. Anyway, just one of those things, but just be aware if you have a really weird arc and things are acting weird, you forgot to do that. Go ahead and fire this guy up here so you can hear it. I find these, you know, high-speed engine drives to be really annoying. You may not find it to be so annoying. Oh, I forgot to hit the choke. All right, so I'll show you what I got in the back seat here. I need to figure out some more toolboxes for this where I can actually put my wire feeder, but I've got 3 rolls of this Select Arc 045 stainless dual shield. I've been burning about a spool of that every day. The planes I'm working in, you have to have inside the building shoes, outside the building shoes. So yeah, shoes for inside the building. My 12 VS feeder, gas hose for that. I think I'm gonna pick up one of those Alumareel shielding gas reels, but we'll go ahead and get that sorted out whenever we do the next skid. I've got my Speed Glass Papper hood. If you've never welded with stainless steel before, it puts off a lot of hexavalent chromium, especially with MIG. You really, really need to wear a respirator or papper. That just makes life a lot easier. I got my tried and true pipeliner hood with the flip front. I've got my Wendy's pancake there, and carry a bug out bag in here. I've got my CMR pancake here I've been trying, and then I keep my computer in this bag. GPS up there, and really that's about it. Drinks, got to have lots of caffeine to kind of fuel yourself. I picked up some of these WeatherTech floor mats. They're actually pretty nice. So when I bought this truck, I was kind of in a hurry, and I just kind of got the best deal on the one I could there. It has carpet in it. I would have rather gotten one with rubber floor mats, but this just happened to be what they were willing to deal on the most here, and it was an XLT rather than, you know, kind of one of the more stripped down ones. So here's the outside of the truck here. It's a 2019 F250 XLT with a Power Stroke. So far I'm liking it. I get actually a couple miles to the gallon better mileage than I do with my 6-liter. All right, so one of the reasons I went with a 3/4 ton with a 10,000 pound gross vehicle weight over a 1 ton is mostly I just travel a lot of states. Iowa in particular is one that I go to pretty regularly there. They're real strict about commercial vehicles having over 10,000 pound gross vehicle weight. They want DOT numbers, and they want a driver's log, and they want all that. I know a couple guys that have gotten pulled over out there and gotten a real nasty ticket for basically doing what I do and being over 10,000 pounds. I don't want to mess with that, so that's why I bought this specific truck here. Anyway, yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this week's video. We'll do some more here as things kind of slow down for me. I've got a big stack of I-beams behind me here. We're going to turn into a lifter on a settling pit. That should be fun. Anyway, I'm Darlington Farm, back from the dead. Hope you guys enjoyed this week's video. As always, thank you for watching. Don't forget to click that subscribe button, ring the bell to get notified, and thank you again.